Making sure everything works okay.
Origin of evil.
There we go. It should be okay. Nice. Alright, so we're just gonna give it a few minutes for people to jump in. But yeah,
Right.
this session is called The Origins of Evil.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun! What could it mean?
What could it be? Time to reveal the truth.
Yes, yes. I'm excited for this one. This one should be a lot of fun. Hey, Miski, how's it going?
For
Hey,
me.
Dark Will, Jacob. No, not fun for Tiny.
Nah.
Well, Lolo, you'll notice that Tiny has a webcam now. His webcam's not in the right place in the nameplate. That's because everyone's all disappeared. No one's come to support Tiny. Everyone hates Tiny. They've already forgotten
no
him.
friendship.
They don't care. They don't give a shit here, dude.
No one loves me.
How we doing, Mora? Devil? Talk to you later or whatever. Haku, Lou. Having such a hard time pronouncing all your names. Yeah, can I get a top up of water, please? There's a party going on downstairs right now, celebrating my wife's dad's birthday. So I had a few beers before we started this, but I've tried put some food in me. I've drank a few glasses of water. So I'm trying to.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Trying to
Hello.
get my levels back down to neutral. What's that? What's that you got?
It's beer. No, I'm just
What?
kidding. Of course not. I don't drink beer.
I was gonna say.
It's good enough.
Alright. We're here for Tiny. Hashtag Tiny. Hey, Snake. I need you to do this. My morn is driving me insane. When she doesn't have her meds, she's very mentally unstable. Oh, your mum. If we said your morn. Your morn, like, oh, my morning shit. But my mum, she's fucking... Mate, when she ain't on the meds, she's a fucking nightmare. That sucks, mate. Let's hope she pops some pills.
Hello, Dark Wheel. Thank you, Misaki.
Oh,
I'm
Dark
gonna tell
Will.
him.
Hey, Zarity's here. I remember you, buddy. Nice animations. Oh, what's going on, everybody? How you doing, Snake? Are you excited for this? I am very excited for this. This is gonna be my favorite story-focused session so far. Everything that's been happening so far in the campaign has been leading up to this moment. So, yes, we will now finally find out what this whole story is about. It's more than simply survivors trying to struggle from one unfortunate event and just to stumble into the other. It's not just a series of random events. She's great when she has her meds. Oh, that sucks, man. Let's hope she finds a non-medicinal means of finding an equilibrium in her mental state. Is this the final session? No, this is not the final session. This is session 3.5. Sorry to get a little bit convoluted with the Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 remixes and all that. But this is just a mini session that's going to kind of play into the story more and give it more of a narrative edge and context as to why it's happening, everything that's happened so far. So this is more of a short session. This is probably going to take an hour, if that. I don't think it's going to be a long one at all. It's more of a story-based little narrative session, and it's also because Tiny's the only one in this session. I don't want to subject Tiny to 3 hours of constant combat and just puzzles and combat and just let's see if you make it through this one, Tiny. He's only a level
It's the first
1
time I
barbarian.
see.
Yeah, Tiny's got a webcam now.
Nice.
Am I going to finish this this week or next? So after this session, I'm going to have to come up with... I've got more or less the story, like the main... Like how I do my sessions is that I have... When I started making this Resident Evil campaign, I had 3 sessions initially in mind. I had the introduction, then which was the tavern, the woods, the apartment, the cabin, and the caves and all that. Then I had session 2, the middle, which was the mansion. Then I had session 3, either the labs or the sewers, depending on how the people reacted. on at the end of session 2, where they chose to whether or not save Tiny or leave him to his fate and go off into the sewers and try and escape while they had an opportunity. So I figured, okay, that's cool and everything, but 3 sessions for a Dungeons and Dragons campaign is very short by any means. There aren't going to be any level 20 characters in this campaign. In fact, everyone is still level 1. So I figured that there should be like a little mini 3.5 session thrown in there to kind of give the campaign story a little bit more of an impact and a little bit more presence, because you can't really tell much of a story within 3 sessions. I mean, 3 sessions in with the other campaign where I play as Thoric Goldmane in Randrin's Icarus campaign, I think when we're on the 3rd session, I mean, not much really happened. I mean, we just got set up with the Hunters Guild, and that was, like, our adventure was just really starting.
Mm-hmm.
But by 3 sessions in this campaign, it's over. I mean, session 1 got split into 2 sessions because it was I planned way too much content for 1 session. But yeah, that was the initial idea. I literally had the intro, middle, and the end. So this is a little bit of a cut-in that's going to give us a little bit more story and context for the people who are kind of, what's going on? What's going on? A break in this session? Yeah. God no. This session's going to be done.
Will you let me know then?
It's going to be done fast.
When the time comes.
When the time comes? Oh,
just let me.
I can do.
Send me a message. I can come.
All right. I'll send you a message. Yeah, Brew already knows what's going to happen in the session.
I'm excited. I'm too excited.
So. I've already ran it by her and everything. She likes it. She thinks it's cool.
I love it.
So.
I almost cried.
All right, let's not go down that road. Let's leave it a bit spoiler-free. Mate, could cry because it was well funny, is what you meant to say, because it was hilarious, right? You were slapping your knee, crying.
Hello, Wolf. How are you?
So yeah, so this is going to be a session that's going to be a more story orientated. So it's not going to be the long kind of 3-hour session and team having to kind of make decisions and fight a bunch of wolves in the woods and stuff like that. This is more contained, and it's more of an escape the room session. So to try and it's only 3 sessions long, this campaign, so I wanted to kind of keep it in every session they're doing something different. There's a different kind of flavor to each session. So the first session was your typical, going through the forest, leaving the tavern, getting your quest, and going through the forest, which was meant to be like your first kind of quest in any like RPG, right? So I kind of did that with a bit of a Resident Evil horror flair. So that was what that was meant to be, to kind of ease them into the world of Dungeons and Dragons and everything. Session 2 was like, okay, now we're gonna ramp up the Resident Evil a lot with the mansion and everything. So I wanted there to be puzzles, and I wanted there to be a big map. Well, I say big, a biggish map that they can explore around at their leisure and things like that. And then session 3, and then this session, I wanted to make an escape the room kind of game. So now, instead of being in this big mansion, they're stuck in this small place, and they've got to like, shit, I've got to get out of here. How do I figure this out? But again, I didn't want to overwhelm Tiny with puzzle after puzzle after puzzle after puzzle after puzzle. So which is typical in escape the room games, you get an item and you're like, I have no idea what to do with this, and you're just using it on everything, like, does it do this, does it do this? I didn't want to do that because that's not fun. So it's going to have puzzles in it, and it is going to be escape the room in a sense, and like literally he's escaping a room, but it's going to be a lot easier and a more kind of Resident Evil orientated with the puzzles, in a sense. Yeah. There's one that I came up with by myself, which is a little bit cheeky. It's a little bit mean if you're not familiar with a certain item in the world that everyone uses every single day. But you never know. It might be hard to use.
But you're spoiling as well.
No, I'm not spoiling. I didn't give the emotions away. Yeah, didn't give the emotions away.
No, they might think something is gonna happen, but it's not.
Who knows? We'll see. So how's everyone doing? How's our weekend going? Like I said, I'm still coming down from. Where's me drink, babe?
Still here.
Oh, you got it. Oh,
I'm still here, babe.
I forgot. I was too busy talking. How's everyone's weekend going so far? Tiny is just pondering his fate. So, just to give you a bit of context as to how tight this group is, you know, blood brothers, right? None of them's turned up. It's Tiny by himself. He's all by himself. He's been abandoned. He's been abandoned by his crew. He took everything for them, yeah? He went through all the hardships. He took all of the pain, all of the suffering. Where are they when he needs them most? Where are they? Fucked off. Randra's in bed.
In bed.
Fucking Mooney's partying somewhere. And Pearl is skinning an animal in the woods. Fucking sick of it. I probably won't be seeing. I'll probably be seeing the chat later on in the session, but for the most part, no. I'll be in narrator mode and telling the story. Literally, they could. Right. He doesn't. They don't care. They don't care.
I have my revenge.
You have your revenge! That's what I want to hear! My weekend was alright, doing a bit better than when I was yesterday and the day before. Well, that's great. No matter how you feel, the sun will always rise tomorrow. Wah. I tell you what happened, something really weird happened at the end of session, towards the end of session 2, I think, when the gang was fighting Margaret in the cabin, or something like that. My left eye went completely blind, didn't it? It went completely blind. I couldn't see through it. There was just, you know when you look at a light for too long, and then you've got like that weird imprint on your eye when you look away, and you've got like the kind of like the bright kind of like weird blurred image of what it was before. You've got like that weird strobes of blues and reds, kind of like there. That's what I had in my eye when I was trying to read. I was trying to look at like what the stats were of the monster. I'm like, I cannot see a fucking thing. After that, I had an intense migraine. That is fucked, wasn't it? I went through like the end of that session just trying to be like, oh, don't pass out from this migraine. Holy shit. Played some Metal Gear Solid 2 on hard difficulty. It was awesome. Fuck yeah, it's awesome. Metal Gear Solid 2 is sick, man. Sick. Way before its time. And I would argue it's even more relevant today and continues to become more relevant as a reflection of today's society than it was back when it came out. It just nailed where humans were going on the fucking head. It's so well done. It's such a good game, man. Such a good game. That's not a good thing. You're right. I don't know. I was tripping dicks. I was tripping fat dicks. I never had that before. Scared the shit out of me. But I was like, I'm playing Resident Evil right now. I gotta pretend this ain't happening.
The DM must be perfect.
The DM
Must be.
You don't know what I sacrifice to make these campaigns happen.
Be right back.
Alright. I think it's alright. Sometimes I get like once a month or once every 2 months I get a nasty migraine. I never had the blurry eyesight, but I tell you what it was. I was drinking a fuck ton of coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I was drinking like this extra strong fucking Nescafe granule coffee shit. And I was drinking cup after cup, and I was getting the rocking going on. I was losing my mind, man. So I don't know, maybe it kind of just popped something in my brain for a second. Snake's so professional, yeah. No, I spent I spent a billion hours. I haven't, but I don't know about you guys when it comes to making something. Say when you've got, what I've kind of realized with Dungeons and Dragons is it's kind of like homework. You know, we've got like that big essay coming up, and you got a week's wait. You've got a week's time before it has to be in. I don't know about you guys, but for me, that means I've got six and a half days of free time. I've got half a day in which I've actually got to do this essay. So what I tend to do is I'll start thinking about it, about the session, about the story and stuff. But I don't really commit myself to sitting down and typing it all out and making all the maps and putting it all in Roll20, searching for kind of relevant music, writing a script and kind of rehearsing it all until like the final 12 hours, until we're doing it, like right before I go to sleep on the final night. That's how I do things. And it's kind of like this pressure, this deadline kind of lights a fire in me to kind of go extra hard. Whereas if I've got like a whole week to write it out, I'm like, shit, I got a whole week. I could like probably learn to like play the saxophone by then. You know what I mean? Like, could probably learn fucking French as well. I got plenty of time. And then Saturday comes around. Sunday's game time. Oh shit! I gotta write a script. But then I give a shit. I give a hardcore shit about making a really good script.
Yeah.
You know, and I go for it over and over again feverishly. But I don't want to do it like a week beforehand because that's just too much, man. Because that means every day I'm going back to this script. You know what I mean? I want to make it, really, really enjoy it, and before I have enough time to look at it so much that I start to critique it, and I'm like, nah, I don't really like it anymore. I've already delivered it. You know what I mean? I've made it 12 hours ago. I've delivered it now. I like it. If I made it a week ago, I'm like looking at the script and I'm going, this is shit. This is...
User joined your channel.
Oh, last minute, someone decides to show up. Hey, what's going on? Who is it? It's Damon. Damon jumps in just before we start.
I'm here.
Damon's coming in
I was
for
about
the
to
support.
cry.
Oh,
But Mooney though,
that's the time to see the real friends.
Mooney's too
True
busy fucking having shots of tequila with her head out the window screaming. Randron's too busy fucking sleeping.
Oh, screw that.
They don't give a fuck.
Oh, Damon.
So we've got Damon as emotional support, and we've got Tiny, who is going to be the solo adventurer of this little mini campaign.
Emotional support is here.
Emotional support is here. Is it going to be enough? I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
No, probably not.
Nah, you can help
Nah,
a lot.
Probably not.
it's all gone to shit anyway. Pillar to the rescue. So yeah, we'll just giving the crew a few minutes to just get settled. And then we'll hop in to session 3.5. So again, guys, it's gonna be a very short one.
Is that Bruce's arm?
That's Bruce's arm. Yeah, she's.
Oh.
No, it's my arm. I've got an extra arm.
Hello.
I can't hear.
Pillar was asking whose arm is that?
Ah,
I got on the
was
chair,
like-
like, what the fuck? It's like, no, it's just me, man. Like, I'm just
Triple arm.
This how I relax.
Just
Laid back. I'm a lurk or listen to the guys. Yeah, so nice to hear nearly everyone is having a good weekend so far. Some meds have to be involved, but for the most part, everyone's having a good time. Nice to hear it. So we've just got a family party going on downstairs, haven't we? Me being the awesome sociable host, I say fuck that. I go upstairs. I'm doing D&D, mate. No, I had a few beers, chatted with everyone, and all that stuff. They gave them the Brazilian welcome. Everyone likes to hug each other and kiss each other's face when they say hi over here, don't they?
Yeah.
They like to hug, oi, to the babe, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Whereas in fucking England, they're like, you're right. You're right, mate.
It's so weird.
Maybe a head nod, maybe a head nod.
So weird.
You're right.
When I went to Dan's house,
Yeah.
I was like, what should I do?
You waited to get
I was
hugged.
like,
You waited to get hugged, and everyone's just standing there like.
hi?
Yeah.
No.
For
We don't
Hispanics,
fucking do
for
that.
Mexicans,
Because it's very
the
weird
same
to me.
thing.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I just look at
The Mexicans
clear
have the same
eyes.
kind of green.
Yeah.
It's very physically involved. Like, oh, to the baby, amigo,
Yeah,
tranquilo,
whenever I go to
Yeah.
the person the person I'm dating's house, like
Yeah.
it's always so awkward because I don't know what they're.
Well, are they white or
accustomed to.
something? Are they white and they just
Yeah.
kind of just stand like Barbie dolls at the door. Hello, welcome guest. Like, oh wow, this feels comfortable. Fucking white people and their welcomes. Why are you so socially awkward?
White people. The new trigger.
They're so tense they walk around with their butt cheeks clenched, just very tight. Like, oh, I must not embarrass myself in front of the guest. Calm down, just hug me. No, we don't do that here. We don't want to get accused of anything sexual now.
Yeah. So it's always an awkward situation.
Yeah, no, it's the same in England. Like, yeah, people just don't give a fuck. People don't care. So it's just like, you alright, mate? What's it? Well, that's all you're getting from me. I mean, what do you want, eh? What do you want? Eh? They won't even stand up. They'll just sit there. You're right. They'll be on their phone like this, right? And they'll be kind of like slouched in the chair, right? So they kind of got their chin to their chest, their phone like this. And they'll kind of look at you with their eyes like, you're right, mate. That's it. That's all you're getting from a Brit.
If you do this in your workplace in here, you're fired. You're just fired.
You're just wearing your Nike sweats with your fucking with your trainers on. Well, got your hoodie on, mate. You right, mate? How's it going? They ask you how your day's going. That's a rarity. So jump on that when you got the opportunity. You know, give them your life story if they ask you that question. Because that's the only time you're going to be talking to them. UK is a lot less racist in America by 100%. I just think people don't. I don't know. I would say technically yes. I'd say, however, America has kind of like a bleed effect on the kind of like Western like nations, and England, whether you like to admit it or not, you're a mini America. I don't care what you say, you're just a mini America, really. whatever America does, England kind of does it with a bit more of a rough accent. That's it. That's all they do.
More politely?
I wouldn't say politely. We don't even know how to pronounce our T's if they're in the middle of a word. We forget that they exist. We just kind of fuck it. Let's just scrunch our words together. Let's just try and just get it all in as less effort as possible. But I would agree that yeah, England's a lot less. I don't know actually. I don't know. In some areas, I would say England's a lot more casual with its racism, whereas America used to be, and now it's gone from the radical extreme from being casually racist. Now it's like, you can't be fucking racist, cunt! You know what I mean? So it's gone to that side. Whereas England is still kind of in the casually racist. But they're kind of doing it, but now they've kind of realized it's not really the best thing to do. Now they're closet racist, so they'll say something racist with a hushed voice. Like, you look at that Asian person coming in right now. You see that? So they're in that kind of ballpark right now. But eventually they'll transition to, you know, the aggressive anti-racist, where they're kind of like, you know, they'll punch you in the face because you said black instead of African American or something like that. Alright, so how are we doing, fellas? Should play Mad Father. I've heard of it. Never played it though. Never played it. Go to Heathrow Airport. It's full of Muslim people working there. Well, yeah, you need people from different kind of areas. So kind of because there is an airport. Lots of people coming in from different areas need to speak different languages, right? Meds don't work for shit, anyways. Don't even know what we're talking about now. Just some guy types in, these meds are wank! Meds never work in the long haul. No! It's a temporary solution to a permanent problem. Don't rely on it, alright? Alright, how we doing, Tiny? How we doing?
I'm ready.
You ready? I don't think you are,
My
man.
friend.
You say you are, but I don't know. I don't know if you're quite ready for it and stuff. Take it easy on Tiny, please. He should live. LOL. Ho ho! Aren't you the DM Arctic Wolf? Eh? Don't remember you writing the script to this story, mate. It's not his fault he gets bad roles. Well, we'll talk more about that after the session. But yeah, Tiny's had a bit. To say Tiny's had bad luck is an understatement. Yeah. It's been a long day without you, my friend. Yeah, R.I.P. Tiny. Fast and Furious.
No.
Fast and Furious 8 in memory of Tiny.
Give me your power. Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Send your power to
May R and Jesus show Tiny on mercy. He hasn't been so far, so I don't know why he's gonna change his mind right now. R and Jesus don't give a fuck about Tiny.
Oh my lord.
He does about John though. Holy shit! How lucky has John been getting these roles? You know what I mean? He's been strength checking everything, and it's always a success. And I'm trying to throw nasty shit his way, and he's just like, nah, mate, I just roll it so it disappears. I'm like,
He's Chris.
fuck!
He's the Chris.
Yeah. Every time I've tried to catch John, he just rolls a 20, and I'm just like, fuck you, John. Fuck you. So that's why he's got something bubbling in his stomach that was done before the fucking start of the session, so he couldn't roll to get rid of it. Fuck you, John. You're not getting out of this one, cunt. Oh. Yeah, John wanting to find axes everywhere. Making 20-foot cable, 20-foot rope out of PC cables. Snake has jinxed it now. Yeah, I know, right? Now John's just gonna roll nat 20s every time, and he's just gonna make the final boss look like a bitch. So I've got to double its health, triple. I had to triple fucking Burnside's father. I had to triple his health because John kept hitting him too quick. And he's coming up with all these new rules, like, yeah, well, if I do that, I kind of get this extra roll, and that kind of means that the monster's on the floor. And I'm just like, fuck me, John, just roll the fucking dice. we all know you're gonna roll 20s anyway, John. Just roll the fucking dice. Yeah, I rolled 20s on both my attacks. So that means that the monster takes double critical damage, and now he skips his turn because he's on the ground. I'm like, fuck you, John. It's a tyrant. You don't just pin a tyrant to the ground. Yeah, I know, right? So I don't know how I'm gonna counteract John, because for a level 1, because John wants to be leveled up. He's like, oh, do we level up yet? Do we level up yet? Motherfucker, John, you're level 1, and you're steamrolling through all of my monsters anyway. So, calm down. What was Randro thinking during the roll for seduction sessions? I don't know, because no matter what Randron was doing, I kind of feel like I am a shit. I don't know, I feel like I'm a double-edged sword as a player, because I don't know, I kind of just play as Thoric, really, but Thoric is like this crazy, bombastic dwarf, right? He just goes where the wind takes him, right? And no matter what the DM's planned, Thoric, not intentionally, ends up fucking it all up. He fucks up the entire script, and he fucks up the entire events, and the DM's like, okay, so Thoric does that, and then he's in the realm of improvisation now, like, oh shit, what do I do? But Thoric makes it exciting, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. What's Snake's real name? It's Lee. L-E-E. Everyone thinks I'm Asian before they meet me. If someone tells me, oh, yeah, my friend's coming over, his name's Lee. Oh yeah, is he, And then the closeted British racist goes, is he Chinese? Is he Chinese? No, he's white. He's English. Oh, okay. Just for he was, from Asia land or something.
Asia land.
He looks like a Lewis? No, definitely not a Lewis. I'm a Lee.
Leon.
Got a clock on now. Good luck, Tiny. You can do it. All right, Tiny. Your webcam's not working for me right now. Yeah. I'm trying to refresh Tiny's face. It's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, your webcam's frozen for me as well, Pearl. I don't know why. I've got Tiny working now, but I don't know. I don't have Damon. Lee Baker's saltiest DM
Yeah,
ever.
she's not working for me too.
My webcam is doing something weird. So
Alright, well, I mean, just keep...
disconnected it.
okay, no worries.
It's doing something weird.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason, I guess Lee is like... Oh, I don't know, Jackie Chan's character in Rush Hour is called Lee, so I guess therefore...
But it's not...
Lee means China.
Yeah. So there are two types of Lee, right? L-E-E and L-I.
My arm name is Lee too.
L-E-I. Yeah, you've got that. Yeah, you got that. You got, what's his name, like Lee in Tekken, he's like that drunk cop. He's like that drunk cop, and he's like...
Because you have Bruce Lee with L-E-E, and you have Jet Li with L-I.
Yeah,
so
true.
it's like two.
True.
True.
Yeah, it makes sense. Snake looks more like a Steve to me. Alright, Orpheus!
Easy.
Sounds like someone wants an IP ban, mate. Yeah? Nah, get off.
It's Steve.
Sounds like someone's asking for an IP ban. An IP man ban. Is what you're asking for.
No.
Lee, you should change your Twitter handle to Psychedelic Steve for April Fool's Day.
Psychedelic Steve. No. IMA Trainer was in a film with Jet Li. That's sick. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, I'm looking to find a BJJ gym when I'm around Ausland, if and when that works out. I was on Sky One recently. Oh, okay. Oh, it was on Sky One. Maybe, yeah. Psychedelic Lewis. Bless you! Alright then. Let's, the time is now, alright? So,
Time is now.
time is now, Tiny. The time's come. Alright, so are we ready to hop in to session 1 of session 3.5? My brain's going backwards. Session 3.5 of our D&D campaign. Are you ready, Tiny?
Ready?
Ready?
Anything.
All right. Okay, here we go, fellas. Buckle up. It's gonna be a fast and furious ride. So, Tiny, you begin to slowly wake with a slow and heavy head to the sound of machinery operating around you. Pumps pulsate as they squeeze strange coloured fluids through tubes, and computers chirp in a series of beeps with their lights flashing and illuminating the room in a multicolour of stars. You're slowly able to make out all of these details as the room creeps further into focus, your only eye working hard to process your surroundings. You're tied to a table with a series of blinding lights beaming down on top of you. Is there anything you would like to do, Tiny?
Try to, like, use my strength.
Oh, okay. Alright, so can you give me a strength check, please? Oh, 15. So Tiny finds himself held down by all of his limbs, his wrists, his ankles, his neck. He's been tied down by, just like the chair in the dining hall of the manor. Tiny's completely restrained by all limbs. He tries really hard to break free of those chains. He feels something begin to happen, but it's not quite enough to break the sturdy steel that's holding him down. However, the noise he begins to make draws the attention of someone in the room with him.
What? Is that a robot?
It's the best avatar I could come up with. Please work with it.
Okay.
So, to your side, you see a man seated in a wheelchair, starting to fill a syringe with a dark, thick liquid. The noise you begin to make gets his attention, and he turns and faces you. Turns out to be Dr. Burnside. Dr. Burnside has patchy, sickly yellow-like hair, kind of like Ustanak in Resident Evil 6, and it's draping awkwardly down the side of his face like a messy comb-over. His skin has a slight green tinge and looks beyond greasy. Just turn this down a little bit. As if a thin veil of water layers over it. You can see some rough patches of what looks like dead scales checkered around his face and his neck. An oxygen mask covers his nose and mouth as he takes strained, long breaths from the oxygen tanks attached to the back of his chair. With each breath, you see slits in the side of his neck begin to open up like fish gills. After another breath, he pulls the mask down with a hand that has webbed fingers and smiles, showing a collection of needle-like shark teeth in his maw. You're awake. Try not to move too much. The drugs are still in your system. Dr. Burnside then circles around Tiny, as if observing him, looking his body over. Tiny, Tiny, you poor thing. Fate hasn't been kind to you, has it? Look at you. You're broken. Useless to your friends, who have already abandoned you. Now you've become an inconvenience to them. Well, don't believe me? And then see for yourself. Just move you real quick.
They will come back for me. They will come for me.
Is that what you think? I'm just gonna move you real quick. There we go. He turns around and shows you a collection of CCTV monitors, and on one of the screens you can see the 3 survivors that you've been journeying with thus far. They're in an elevator and they appear to be going somewhere. They're already leaving the manor. They didn't even hesitate to leave you behind. Now you've become a freak in their eyes. Dr. Burnside then struggles to lean out of his chair, but his intensity towards you pulls him out, and he leans closer toward your face. Let me just move you back once more. Put you there, and then put you there. Oh no. There we go. But you're not a freak in my eyes, Tiny. See, fate hasn't been kind to me either. I know what it's like to be abandoned by those you cared for, but I will be kind to you, Tiny. Dr. Burnside rubs a wet and scaly webbed hand down Tiny's face. I have a gift for you.
Yeah.
And with the other hand, he presses the dark-filled syringe into Tiny's neck and plunges the fluid into his bloodstream. The room grows immediately dark and blurry, and you pass out. So, let me edit this real quick. What? Now then,
Everything is happening.
Everything is happening. Poor old Tiny. It's not working out for you, is it, mate? All right.
Am I just gonna remain stuck like that?
I think so, yeah, until your camera starts to work.
Boring. Okay.
So, Tiny, you begin to wake up once more. This time, you're in a room that feels that's very small, cramped, and slightly claustrophobic. It's very minimal as well. The walls are replaced by mirrors. It feels like a confinement room, an observation room, in where people can look in, but you cannot look out of. Instead, you can only see your reflection. In the room, you see a bed that you're sitting on. You see a door that has a computer terminal next to it. You see a generator box. What would you like to do?
I'll check my body first, see if anything changed.
Alright, so you stand up out of your bed to observe your surroundings and also yourself. And you find that you're very awkward on your feet. You kind of feel like your limbs have been stretched. You feel taller now. And you look at the mirror. And so you're much taller in size now. But you also feel lighter. And that's because of all of the extra muscle mass that you've started to gain across your entire body. So you've become this much larger, taller being now. The claws in your hand have started to retract as well.
Guess I'm not tiny anymore.
Guess they don't call me Tiny no more.
Alright, I will check the PC.
Okay. You head over to the PC and you get an idea that it controls the door lock as it's electronically locked. You can't see a keyhole on the door. However, the PC doesn't have any power and refuses to turn on no matter what you press.
I'll go to the generator instead.
Okay, so you head to the generator. On it, you see that the generator door is locked with a padlock. You also see some kind of writing inscribed onto the door of the generator. It says, "My giver of life and my jailer, speak her name and be rid of her chains." On the padlock, you look on the bottom, and instead of a keyhole, there is 3 little dials that you can turn that has letters on them. It seems you need to make a 3-letter word in order to open the lock.
D-O-T?
Sorry?
D-O-T?
D-O-T. Dot? Alright. You start scrolling the D-O-T clumsily as your hands have enlarged in size, and you're still kind of getting accustomed to how big you are now. So you start to try and thumb through the dials, but sure enough, you get D-O-T to line up, and you hear a lock on the padlock. The padlock opens. You can now open the generator door. What would you like to do?
Open it.
Okay. After opening the generator door, you see the actual generator itself. There is a dial ranging from 0 to 100, and there's a red arrow pointing to where 70 would be on the scale. You see 3 switches in front of you that can go up and down, and different dials above them that kind of represent how grand the pressure is. What would you like to do?
Let's go for 4 and 5.
Okay. Do you move them up or down?
Up.
Okay, so you swap 4 and 5 up, and that brings the which one do you switch first? You switch 4 or 5, or do you put them at the same time?
5 first.
5 first. So you flick the 5 switch up first, and it takes the dial to 50. You then you then flick the 4 switch up. It then takes the dial up to 60.
I'll flip.
All of the switches
2,
need to
2.
be flicked.
Flip 2.
So now you're going to flick 2, up or down?
Up.
Up. You flick the switch up, and now the dial moves to 80.
Write this on the paper. Damn. Feels like Resident Evil 1 again.
Oh my lord.
I'll flip 4 down.
Oh, you've already flicked 4 up, so you cannot move it until you've moved all of them at once.
All right.
So you've got 1 and 3 still.
Let's go 3.
How?
3 up.
If 3's going up? Okay, so
Now let's go down.
it's going down.
Down,
Okay,
down, yeah.
You flick 3, and then the dial goes down to 40.
1 up.
1 up. You flick the 1 switch up, and then the dial goes back to. No way! You just did it. It went to 70. I didn't see that combination.
Really?
It went to 70. Good job, man.
Oh snap! Hey.
I had it as up, down, up, but you just did it in the first go. Nice one. So you flick all of the switches.
Good job, man.
You flick all of the switches in a seemingly random order, and lo and behold, you hear a rumbling sound come behind the wall, and the screen. You start to hear the screen of the terminal light up, and sounds start to play as if telling you that you've just succeeded in turning the computer on. However, as you do that, the microphone comes on, the speakers come on in the confinement room, and you hear a familiar voice. Are we ready to continue where we left off, Tiny?
All right. Whatever you want.
All right. And with
I'll find
that.
your game.
With that, a noxious gas fills the room, very familiar to the one that you smelled in the mansion, and it knocks you out unconscious. Some time passes, you're not sure how much, but eventually, you come to, and once again, you are back in the table with Dr. Burnside. Dr. Burnside, this time, he's fumbling through a tray of operating utensils. He notices that you wake up from your stirrings as you slowly come back into consciousness. Without turning to face you, he addresses you once more. I really must thank you, Tiny. You managed to rid me of both my parents. Something I struggled to do for a long time. You think it would have been easy after everything they put me through? A strange, twisted sort of logic. But you gave me the kindest gift. Is there anything you'd like to say or do?
Can you release
User
me?
joined your channel.
Can you release me? Hey, whoever just joined? Who just joined?
Hi.
Oh, it's Mooney. Hey,
Ah,
Mooney.
Mooney.
We're just midway
Hi.
through the session right now, but
I'm here for emotional support.
Emotional support.
Everyone is here.
Well,
for me.
Tiny's tied to a table right now with Dr. Burnside talking to him. So,
Protect Tiny.
and protect Tiny 2017. So, you asked to be released from your jailer, is that correct, Tiny?
Yes.
Okay. As you try to speak your mind to the good doctor, you find that your words are stuck in your throat as a thin mask of skin layers over your nose and your mouth. You cannot speak. And at the sudden realization of this, you start to breathe heavily, becoming very conscious of the fact you have no nose and mouth. And instead of breathing for your no longer available orifices, slits in your neck begin to open up, and you start breathing awkwardly throughout the sides of your neck.
Oh
Yes.
shit! I have become a fish guy. What?
Dr. Burnside notices your revelation and wants to ease your mind with a bit of information. Yes, about that. You see, those acid burns you sustained in the manor did a real number on you. I had to remove a lot of the dead tissue. The mask will help heal and prevent infection. Best we leave it on for now. Again, he circles around you, studying your body, looking for any signs of change and adaptation. You know, Tiny, you really do amaze me. I've been watching your trial since you left the city. You're able to endure so much and still keep going. That's why I chose you. I recognize greatness when I see it. He takes a big hit from his gas mask before continuing his little monologue. But stop and think for a moment. Every tragedy that befell your party, did it really happen to the party? Or did it really happen to you? Every time danger was around the corner, you suffered the consequences while your friends simply watched. None of them tried to save you or tried to take your place. They kept you around to be their human shield, and now they're at the exit. They discard you like an unwanted dog. But I believe we go where we belong, and you belong here with me, Tiny. You're going to save me, and I'm going to save you. And it begins with this. The good doctor tries to feebly come out of his chair, but his legs are so atrophied from years of being wheelchair bound that he has a hard time kind of pushing himself out the chair. But again, intensity pushes him to do so. In his right hand is a scalpel. However, in his left hand you can see what kind of looks like a strange tumor-like organism. Tentacles protrude out of it and start to whip and wind, and you hear this kind of squirming sound come from with it. It seems very much alive.
Ah shit. Resident Evil
You're
4.
fucked.
The bed begins to turn from being a flat horizontal position, and it starts to angle you so that you're vertically standing still but still chained to the bed. And Dr. Burnside takes clumsy, feeble steps towards you with both this thing in his hand and the scalpel in the other. He comes up to your face and whispers something to you. This is my ultimate gift, and I'm giving it to you, Tiny. Dr. Burnside brushes a few crude strands of hair to the side to reveal a large recent wound going all across the side of his head and has been stapled closed. With your body and my brain, we'll be unstoppable. You'll save me from this wretched corporeal prison, and I'll save you from this world that's forgotten you. It's time we were free, Tiny. And he, with a atrophied, shaking, feeble hand, he starts to awkwardly present the scalpel toward your head. What would you like to do?
I'll bite his hand.
You bite his hand. So can you give me a strength check to see just how hard you clamp down onto this poor old man's fingers? Strength. Ugh.
Ah,
Like a fox
angry
pinned,
Tiny.
like a fox pinned against a corner from its hunters, you have no other choice. And with all your ferocity, you bite down on the old man's hand, despite it being slimy, scaly, and webbed. and you sink your teeth as far as they could go. The old man recoils and screeches and tries to pry its hand away from you, and in doing so, he ends up accidentally slashing a huge gash from the top of your head going down your right eye and going down the side of your face. With the sheer intense burning pain of the scalpel, you again pass out from the pain.
Oh, this is too much.
Oh my god!
Damn.
Why?
Tiny's
Let him
life
win
matters.
for once.
Someone's microphone is hissing at me. It's angry.
Oh, it's probably mine. I'm trying to.
I think it might be.
I can't see your webcam anymore.
Yeah, it's. Hold on. Just put you here. Okay.
Hashtag protect Tiny.
Protect Tiny. It's too late, Tiny.
It's too late.
Your friends have forgotten you, mate.
Myself.
Your friends Your friends don't love you. No one.
We are so
Why are you in this position and your friends are just making their way out? How can they get to escape and you get left behind, left alone and forgotten, Tiny? Huh?
Hey, he just told you
It's
to
because of you.
It's because of them. Okay.
Everybody loves me. Even the chat loves me.
Again, you wake up and again in the same place, the same confinement room as earlier. What would you like to do?
Right, let's check the PC.
Check the PC. Okay, as you go to you sit yourself up from the bed and face the terminal. As you do, you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror. You see a large wound that's been stapled closed over your right eye, and you see that the gills are starting to pulsate aggressively as you struggle for breath, and the skin mask over your mouth and your nose is kind of inflating very tightly and closing as your nose is trying to gasp for air. You make your way over to the terminal, which is now turned on due to your recent efforts with the generator. As you approach the terminal, it begins to light up, and you see there's a login screen. It says, "Welcome, Dr. Burnside. Please log in your details." Tiny, what do you think the doctor's login username and password is? Can you please type them into the chat? Doesn't need to be a whisper.
Probably.
Help.
What do you think?
Protect Tiny.
What do you think his login details are? First of all, his login username. What's his username and what's his password?
First of all, Lee, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to assist? Probably not.
If he's stuck, sure. Okay.
Okay. So it's kind of like in fucking phone a friend.
Yeah,
type
if
of
he's
thing.
stuck, he'd be like, "Guys, what the fuck? How do I do this?" He'd be like, "Hey,
Here,
Tiny,
here.
maybe you should stop being retarded and do this." You know what I mean? But in a more, but you probably would say it like that because you abandoned him. You left him. You don't give a fuck about. All right. So, something in your mind. You recall a memory that isn't your own for some strange reason, and for a brief second, you recall once that you Perla, can you turn off your mic for a second? I'm getting this real high-pitched beep in my ear.
Okay.
It's all good. And for a brief moment, you get this memory, you get this recollection of this memory that isn't your own for some reason, and you feel like you've logged into this very terminal in the past. You already know what the login details are. You type in fish, and you type in frog into the password, and lo and behold, the terminal unlocks, and it presents you with another puzzle.
Is that correct?
On the screen in front of you, you see a riddle, and it goes as follows. I travel for miles, yet have no legs. I catch all of my meals, yet have no hands. I have never drank, and yet I still live. I am the beast that grants you another breath, and I shall set you free. And then a 4-digit password appears in front of you.
4-digit.
Four letters are required.
Got this.
If you ever want the riddle again, let me know.
One more time, please.
One more time, okay. I travel for miles on end, yet have no legs. I catch all of my meals, yet have no hands. I have never drank, and yet I still live. I am the beast that grants you another breath, and I shall set you free.
Yeah, fish. Yeah.
Fish? Okay, so how do you do this?
It's not gonna be at the.
Okay, everyone who's in this game right now, Perla, Mooney, Millions, do not look or touch your keyboard.
Okay.
Instead, look at this keyboard on the screen entirely. So, would you like to type fish on this keyboard?
Yes.
Okay, as you do though, you type in FISH, you hit enter, and it comes up as 4 different asterisk symbols to symbolize a hidden password. You click enter, and it tells you that the password is invalid.
The numbers on the keyboard for Q, X, F, why would they have it double like numbers? That's kind of weird.
Any idea as to why your password didn't work?
I'll go with RES. Or ESI.
Wait, sorry, can you spell that for me, please?
RESI.
RESI. So instead, you take a moment to observe the keyboard, and you realize that the keys have been rearranged and that they don't match what it is they represent. So instead of typing FISH, you type in RESI, and lo and behold, the door opens.
Is it?
Time to go.
Alright. There we go. Wait, you should be seeing this now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the door opens and you're free to leave your confinement room now.
Help. Go slowly.
So, as you slowly move out of the room, you can see the very experimentation room that you've been tested on so many times now. However, Dr. Burnside is nowhere to be seen. On the monitors next to on the windows of your confinement room, you can see statistics about your health and your physique and recent entries as to how you've been adapting to your recent changes. Over here, you can see a compilation of CCTV cameras that show all of the rooms in the manor, show different angles of the Raccoon Forest and also the Raccoon City itself. You also see a computer that has a diary entry in it. Would you like to read the diary entries?
Sure.
Alright. It appears to be the diary of Dr. Burnside. And it goes as follows. I had no choice. After exhorting the usefulness of my father, I've had to resort to experimenting on myself. My time's run out. My skin is constantly leaking as if I've just stepped out of the shower, and the sides of my neck itch incessantly. Even if it buys me just a few more days, I will find a cure. The outbreak couldn't have come at a better time. My cameras have picked up a group of survivors in the woods. Maybe one of them holds the key.
Oh.
The diary continues. Interesting. It seems the level of cortisol in the recipient's system at the time of infection drastically changes how the virus manifests in the host. Everyone I've experimented on exhibited high levels of cortisol due to the fear of infection and the immediate stress of fighting its symptoms, causing the virus to exasperate and radically mutate the host. It's going to be soon. However, I've infected myself willingly and wantingly. My cortisol levels were low in comparison, and as a result, the virus's manifestation seems to have waned. I've undergone some changes, but not enough to be considered cured. The survivors are making their way to the manor. If one of them is to be the key to my release, I'll need to prepare them. Like fattening a turkey before Thanksgiving. I'll have to ensure they are filled with enough dread and stress to make them the perfect host for the virus. The final entry goes as follows.
Uh-oh.
Tiny is my key to freedom. He has proven to be durable, physically, and his tendency to be filled with fear so easily has made him the perfect candidate. I had to test his mental aptitude. The virus deteriorates the host's intellect. However, Tiny shows to have a high IQ based on his problem-solving capabilities, and he was able to escape his confinement. You're reading this, aren't you, Tiny? If you are, then you have proven without a doubt to be the perfect host. Congratulations, Tiny. You have passed the final test.
Oh shit!
Ow.
Fuck!
Punch you in your face, Burnside.
Punch your computer.
As you finish the final diary entry. As you finish the final diary entry, an alert message pops up on the screen, and it automatically directs you to the CCTV footage, where it shows the 3 survivors who are entering the laboratory. You have the option to decide what happens to the survivors here. You can see that you can see on the further in on the CCTV cameras within the laboratory. You can see that there is a locked armory having multiple weapons and ammunition inside it. You also see an experimentation room, much like yourself, the one you're in. However, instead of a Tiny being in there are caged, green, amphibious-like ferocious monsters banging against a cage. You could choose to either unlock the armory or unlock the monsters in the cage. What would you like to do, Tiny?
Why would I unlock the monster
Why would you?
armory?
You're gonna unlock the armory. Alright. Your massive sausage-like fingers start to type away at the keyboard, and you see the red light next to the door of the armory begin to flash green, and the door automatically slides open. And with that, another door opens. Let me just move you real quick. The door to your confinement opens, and Dr. Burnside enters the room. Hey, what's this? Not the monsters. I should have specified who us means. Release the monsters. Release.
I was like, free us, and I was like, wait, no.
Dr. Burnside sees you. You are tall and terrible. Your hair is patchy now. It's beginning to fall out. And your muscles and your stature is a sight to behold in no mere means of the words. Dr. Burnside looks at you, mouth agape, eyes wide open. He's stunned for words. He's stunned for breath. He chokes on his own breath and takes a few hits of his gas mask before trying to again, once more, feebly stand up. His arms open up in a feeble embrace, shaking, and he looks at you and says, "Tiny, you're magnificent. What would you like to do?"
I'll hug him.
You're gonna what, sorry?
Hug him.
You're gonna hurt him?
Hug him. Like, hug him.
Hug.
Hug him! Alright, so you also go over to Dr. Burnside and you have a momentary embrace with one another. As you do so, Dr. Burnside sees the survivors on the CCTV cameras and is starting to run down the hallways towards your area, and he notices that you've allowed them to do so. He looks at you with a look of disgust, and he tries to push you away, only to push himself back into his wheelchair. What have you done? Did you not hear what I told you? They have abandoned you, Tiny. They do not care for you. If you end up relying on others, you'll only be disappointed. Believe me, I know. He looks at you and he grabs a scalpel off of a nearby tray and points at you. You have to pick, Tiny. It's either me or them?
Of course I
Us,
picked
Tiny,
them.
it's us.
Oh, Tiny.
Who are you going to side with, Tiny?
You.
The survivors.
You're gonna side as survivors. Okay, you're unable to talk, so instead of giving him a verbal confirmation, you instead look at the CCTV camera and you make your choice. You choose your friends. Dr. Burnside is furious. His attempts to try and control you, his attempts to try and persuade you over to his side to see reason within this madness has gone with failure. He grabs a scalpel in a final attempt. He tries to jump out of his chair and plunge the scalpel into your chest. Roll for initiative, Tiny.
Got this.
1v1.
Oh,
Battle.
let me just, there we go.
Dun, dun,
Tiny rolls a 14.
Dun dun dun.
And, let's see, Dr. Burnside rolls. Oh shit, I need to add a turn for him. He rolls.
Oh shit.
He rolls a 2. Alright! Yeah, okay. Alright. He's a feeble, like, sickly man. Give him a break. Alright, Tiny! You are huge in stature now. You could easily fit this man's entire skull within your hands. You tower over him. You're easily over 7 feet tall at this point. Muscles begin to just kind of grow even more over your entire body. And the stitching that's holding, the staples are holding the skin of your eye wound together are starting to separate as your skin is stretching to fill all of its muscles now. What would you like to do?
Can I punch his head off?
Alright,
Yeah.
you go to alright, can you roll me a strength check, please? I'm gonna give you advantage because he's like a feeble man stuck in a wheelchair. Oh shit. So
Oh shit.
you cock back your elbow like a piston and you just fire it with as much strength and power, and because you feel so light because of just how much muscle you have now, it fires with a ferocious speed and lands straight in Dr. Burnside's face, snapping his neck and throwing him over his wheelchair, forcing him in a wheelchair against the wall. The gas tanks on the back of his chair crumble in the sheer impact and begin to puncture, releasing a hissing cascade of compressed oxygen. And you have destroyed Dr. Burnside.
One hit wonder.
I'm so sorry.
If I get Tiny's the one punch man. Alright.
Oh my
My
god.
one.
I've never been more above you.
For real.
Dr. Burnside, with just with some fragment of life left in his body, kind of cricks his neck to look at you and kind of raises his hand in your direction. He laughs chokingly on himself, spits up blood, and says one thing to you before dying. Thank you for releasing me, Tiny. His head falls back and he dies with a smile of shark-like bloody teeth on his face.
Jesus.
But
At that
his
moment,
head, his brain.
and that is the end of Dr. Burnside. But at that moment, you hear something echo throughout the lab.
The self-destruct sequence has
Oh.
been activated.
Oh
Repeat,
my
the self-destruct
fucking
sequence
God.
has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
It must be like Resi 2 where like it didn't really matter until it
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We can take as long as we want, as long as we get to the final elevator. Yeah, so with that announcement, you realize, you look at the CCTV, and all of the rooms on the CCTV cameras begin to flash red as sirens start to echo throughout every room in the lab. The survivors that you see start to kind of look around in a confused manner and try to hurriedly rush to try and save their friend, looking at where the experimentation labs are. But with the death of Dr. Burnside, something else happens. And it's not within the lab, but it's within inside your head, Tiny.
Oh shit.
No!
Oh shit, what's going on?
Let me just move you real
His
quick.
brain is inside my
Can
head.
Tiny get a break just for once?
Can I get a break?
No, for real.
No.
Back-to-back injuries. He has to kill
As you
them.
see Dr. Burnside's body crumble to the floor, You grip at your head and in intense pain, grabbing what few strands of your hair are left in your head and trying to yank them out as hair begins to molt out of your head. You start to have a cascade of memories flush through your mind, but as you start to try and record them, they begin to fade and get replaced with an aggressive, bloodlust-like rage. More and more,
The Silent Hill thing?
more and more you start to find memories that made you who you are begin to fade away. And instead, you are just replaced with this feral, like bloodlust, this intense,
Really loud.
I know, this need to kill. The pain begins to get grander and grander. You start clawing more at your head. And as you do so, tentacles begin to burst from your palms. Your eye begins to glaze over in a grey-like cloud. The rest of your hair begins to molt from the strain of the pain. From it all, you tried to scream, stop, but the mask on your face prevents you from screaming. Again, the pain climbs more and more and more, until you can't bear it anymore. Despite the mask on your face, you have one last effort to try and scream, to try and express your pain, and you open your mouth as far as you can. It tears the mask away, releasing a skinless like maw of teeth and gums. And instead, the pain is so grand, as you try to say the words "stop," Tiny's final word is stars. And that is
God
the
damn
end
it.
of session 3.5.
Oh
Tiny.
my
Damn it!
God.
God
The
damn it.
origins,
I
the
should've
origins
fucking
of
put it
evil.
together.
This was a story of how the Nemesis was made.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god!
You said the split, and I was like, what the
Oh my
I
lord!
am the nemesis.
I can't handle
Tiny
it.
is the Nemesis, right?
Damn.
How fucking cool is that?
I was a
That's not cool. That's upsetting.
It's upsetting, right? So, now whenever you play Nemesis, think of this. Whenever you hear stars, it's actually the final fragments of Tiny's identity screaming stop. And instead, it's so distorted, all he can say is stars.
No.
Ah.
I don't think
Ah.
about
I
it.
hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh, Nemesis is my favorite boss anyway.
And that was the
No.
I'll
end.
take it.
And that was the end of Tiny's story in the campaign, as he is now replaced. A fragment of him remains. However, the half of his brain that's been replaced by the tumor-like brain of Dr. Burnside is taken over with this feral need to exact revenge on the world.
Misaki knows why.
Huh?
Misaki. I get why Brew cried.
Can I
You
play
said-
as Nemesis?
Can you play as
Something about my
Nemesis?
friend.
Well, we'll see, because even though it is not the end of Tiny, it is the beginning of Nemesis. And he will begin to make more of an appearance in the campaign.
Uh-oh.
So, and that is going to be the end of session 3.5, guys, for our Resident Evil campaign. Origins of Evil. That is also going to be the name of the campaign. Origins of Evil. What do we think? It was a short one, but again, I wanted it to be a story narrative based. I know Tiny got a lot of bad things happen to him, but I wanted this to be like an awesome kind of moment, even though it's a sad kind of, bad moment technically. But he becomes the Nemesis. That's
The
something
reward.
pretty powerful and
You
significant
took
in the
him
world, isn't
away
it?
from us.
Yeah.
In Resident Evil stories.
Yeah. So I was talking with Brew about this in the beginning session, in session 1, like a month ago. I was saying, I wonder if they're going to figure out whether this is a story about Nemesis, cause
Obviously not.
Tiny
No.
Tiny ends up in a car crash that ends up malforming his arm. He has to get it replaced, and that's what ends up allowing him to shoot tentacles out of his palm now. He's got this infected arm. He punches a crow, which ends up ripping an eye out of his head. And that's obviously just the symbolic, missing eye of Nemesis. What else happened? Tiny then has acid dripped on his mouth by a spider, which starts to corrode away his lips and his chin. So I was thinking, yes. So I was trying to make Nemesis without you knowing it. I was trying to kind of like slowly sculpt Nemesis into Tiny without anyone figuring out it was the Nemesis. So I was kind of, with each attempt to sculpt him more and more and refine him into Nemesis, I was wondering, are they going to figure it out? They're going to go, you look just like Nemesis now. No one said it though. So I was like, oh yes. And then of course,
Not cool, man.
It's just
Not cool.
like a
oh, I
pirate,
forgot to
like a
mention.
ninja.
I got so caught up in the telling of Nemesis' story. The tubes that you see across Nemesis, as Tiny is straining and clawing at himself. The tubes that you see are actually the tentacles that are from the parasite that are in his brain. They shoot out of the back of his neck and loop around his chest, pierce his chest and into his lungs. And so therefore Dr. Burnside kind of figures out a cure for his breathing problem by using this parasite. So that's what those tubes are. Those tubes are parasitic tentacles that allow Nemesis to breathe despite not having a nose and things like that. So, there you go.
Could this have happened to any of us, or was it just that Tiny got bad rolls?
It would have happened to whoever ended up...
The key was the crow.
The key was the crow. The crow was the key to who was going to be the Nemesis. That was going to be the deciding thing, who was going to be Nemesis. However, I leant towards Tiny because of his backstory. Tiny's backstory is that he was a chef in the restaurant that Jill blows Nemesis up in Resident Evil 3.
Oh my god!
So I wanted
you
it.
yourself up.
Yeah, I wanted to be this massive setup. So when it was the car crash with the truck in the first session, everyone rolled higher than Mooney. It was Dorothy who actually rolled the least, but I saw that Tiny rolled the second least. And I wanted Tiny to be the one throwing out the car. So I came up with some bullshit. And I said that I granted Dorothy inspiration for being so perceptive and figuring out all of these things within the forest. So I gave her a reroll. She rolled higher than Tiny. She rolled higher than Tiny, and Tiny got thrown out the window. So it was all kind of orchestrated from the beginning for Tiny to have all the bad things happen to him. But it was only because it all made sense, and it would have made for a much better storyline as to how Nemesis got made. So I'm sorry, Tiny. It was all for a reason. It was all for a reason, but yeah.
It's cool. I was with a
Cool,
rocket
but
launcher.
it's pretty messed
Kill
up.
Brad.
But this is Resident Evil. I wanted it to be, you know, I wanted it to be like, oh no.
Congratulations, you succeeded.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Hey Lee,
Yeah.
since technically Mr. Burnside's dead, and you said someone had to die this campaign, does that mean Tiny can live?
Well, Tiny was basically the one who was going to die. Theoretically, what Tiny was, even though Tiny's body is still alive, you saw in that memory transition that Tiny was starting to lose everything that was centered towards his identity. He was losing his memories. He lost his name. He lost all of the times he had with you guys, and instead, all he could picture was just blood, death, and carnage everywhere. And that's what Tiny's ended up becoming. The only thing that remains of Tiny in Nemesis is that pain of him screaming stop, but he can't say it because of the pain, and so all he's able to say is stars.
Tiny.
That's the only thing left of Tiny within Nemesis is pain. That's it.
Well,
there is no
Tiny.
Tiny isn't looking. Tiny isn't gonna look at his friends and be like, "Oh, those are my friends. I hate hurting them." No, Tiny is Nemesis now. He just wants to rip and tear. The Quantum Nemesis. It was a
Quantum Nemesis.
Yeah, technically it was. This entire campaign has been a Quantum Nemesis. This entire campaign has been all about telling a story as to how Nemesis was made. Because there's not a lot of story behind the Nemesis, and there's not a lot of story behind the Burnsides either. So I wanted to kind of blend the two in an unlikely way, but in a way that was not obvious. So the whole lungs and not being able to breathe and all that, finding the cure and shit. So he's experimenting on fish and shit like that and stuff. So but it kind of led. So the cure, Nemesis is the cure. So Nemesis embodies Dr. Burnside's rage against the world, but it's also embodying his cure. He can now breathe now with this parasite inside him, and now he has a strong, capable body, whereas before he had a broken and frail one. This is Dr. Burnside's cure, and Dr. Burnside now lives with Tiny inside this vessel of carnage.
Disgusting.
Why would?
What do we think, guys?
I'm thinking about the next session. Will I have to hunt them down?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I'm
just
curious about.
Gonna be a
yeah.
watcher crying. There's no more place for me.
I'm mad that you had all of this planned out.
Yeah, so that's the idea. I didn't want to just tell a random like, oh no, and then you walk into the room and then the zombies. Oh my god, you know, it's like there's a reason for it. They're like there's a story happening behind the curtains behind you guys, but you ended up going behind the curtains and therefore stumbling into this unfortunate story that's been going on. So the story of the survivors is really the fact that they are victims of stumbling into this unfortunate story. So,
Does John know about it? Should we tell him?
does John know about it? Nah, he's too fucking Randron's still sleeping. He don't give a fuck. He don't care. He don't care. There's gonna be a fist fight between him and Nemesis next session.
Can I go after him?
Probably.
Take his
I wouldn't be
axe.
surprised.
Yeah.
Take his axe, yeah, cleave him with it. But even though Tiny is dead, it doesn't mean that everyone else is safe. So who knows? And now you've got
It's a fucking nemesis.
now you've
There's
got
no
now
more
you're
time
going
for
to
you.
now you're going to rescue your friend. And yeah,
Where's Tiny?
when you open the door, Tiny ain't gonna be there.
You're not tiny.
You're not tiny at all. You're massive, mate.
I am still tanky as fuck.
Yeah, still a tank though.
No
See, that's
kidding.
why I wanted to go with Tiny as well, because he was taking so much damage. So the damage was meant to represent Nemesis's ability to withhold so much damage towards him, because it's kind of like an augmentation of Tiny's natural capabilities. So, and the fact that Tiny was so prone to fear, that allowed for the virus's manifestation to be a lot more aggressive on Tiny's system, thus mutated him this much. And then the fact that he had a high IQ, a high intellect, of being able to escape his confinement, showed that he was able to still retain some level of intelligence despite becoming this infected creature, which is what Nemesis exhibits as well. He kind of, there's like a thought process to Nemesis. Even though he's on like a rampage, he doesn't just aimlessly walk towards you. He's shooting down helicopters. He's trying to infect you with all sorts of shit. He's trying to cut you off at every angle. He's got an intellect.
It also
towards him.
didn't help Tiny that you figured out the puzzle in like the first and second try.
Yeah, I mean that
Some puzzle.
that kind of worked in my favor to prove in the diary entries that Tiny exhibits a high IQ and all that jazz. Because if Tiny was like, the kind of diary would have kind of been a bit contradictory. Like he just gets through these puzzles so easily. Like, but yeah, it was a good thing that
And it
Tiny
takes
was
20
able
minutes
to
to
slam through the puzzles with a lot of ease. So yeah, that is the end of session 3.5, Origins of Evil. Chat, what did you think of it? Hope you enjoyed it.
Wait. Where is the purple herb?
Where is what, sorry?
Purple herb.
The purple herb?
Can you poison yourself?
Where is the purple herb?
Someone took it.
Did they?
No,
Just Steve.
Wait.
Steve
Nemesis
took it.
had purple blood, right?
I'll let you guys try and locate the missing herb. All right.
Well,
Okay, question.
Yeah.
For next session or whatnot, will we ever find out for Randrin, me, and Mooney? Will we ever find out what we'll be turning into?
Well,
They
just
have
give us
to
that
come to
stuff
play.
to fuck with us.
that's the thing. That's what you're gonna have to find out next session.
Oh boy.
Right.
Oh, it's like Dr. Burnside said at the beginning of session 2. You know, don't worry, everyone has a gift. You know what I mean? And Tiny's is this. What does everyone
Is
else
it
have?
really a gift, though?
Ah, well, to Dr.
Another
Burns,
one of our friends.
in Burnside's eyes, this is the miracle cure. This is the cure to
Or
everything
in
that ails him.
any bad guy in Resident Evil, it's always the miracle cure.
It's the miracle
In
cure.
any-
Yeah.
in any bad guy in Resident
Excellent
Evil.
plot twist. It was awesome. I'm excited for the next session. Yeah, the next session is going to be the final one. Decisions. That's going to be the final entry into this campaign. And then I got a surprise for the players afterwards.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
That was
Nah,
my
it's gonna be
favorite
great.
part
You're
so
gonna
far.
like it. It's gonna be good.
Dead silence followed by saying, fuck you.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have kind of tricked you like this, but that was the whole point of the story. Is that this was the telling of the origins of evil, the origins of Nemesis, the ultimate evil, and yeah. So and now the big punchline has been delivered. Now you got to get the fuck out of here. So that's that.
Au revoir. Goodbye.
I'm
Au
letting
revoir.
you
That's not the fucking
down.
word.
But no, I'm
You're coming with me.
I'm pretty
All of you.
I'm pretty psyched that no one figured out it was Nemesis. Oh,
I
because
hope you feel
that
proud about yourself.
I do,
Feel good
I
about
do. I
yourself.
feel I'm so smug right now. I got all the smugs going on right now. Because that would have ruined the entire story if someone was like, "Oh, this is Nemesis. You're fucking Nemesis, aren't you? Watch Tiny become Nemesis." I'm like, "Oh fuck."
That's pretty stupid because my like I don't my character's intelligent, but I'm not obviously.
No one figured it out, and I think that's
That,
I mean, like,
that's why I
I feel like
wanted.
you
I
three
didn't
there
want.
cannot
I didn't want
watch
anyone to
Nemesis.
figure it out before the very moment that
Yeah.
you saw this face come on your screen. And
Well,
I
I
feel like
think
if
the
we did, it
reason
would've
why
been
we
less
didn't
good.
figure it out is because we were more worried about Tiny himself than what was actually happening to him.
yes. Yeah.
Well, now I'm gonna go look at all the other Resident Evil monsters and see if we can run into any of those.
You what? Sorry, Dorothy.
Oh, I'm gonna look at any of the other Resident Evil monsters and see
Yeah.
if we
Oh right, you got to try and
Those.
find relevance between what you have and the monsters. I see.
Also, Lee, congratulations for 66,666 subscribers.
Oh really? I'm on
Yeah,
I'm on
congratulations.
66,666 subscribers. So I
Bragging.
guess this was a fitting way to celebrate that. I guess is making
You are
Nemesis.
truly Satan.
Yup.
You are the devil.
You are the-
Damn.
That was great. I loved it. Well, chat,
tried
that was
so
a
hard to
blast. It was
survive.
a short one, but we've got a party going on downstairs now, so I'm going to
Everyone go party.
go down there and hang out with the
fun.
family. Thank you for
Alright.
stopping by, guys. It was a blast. I hope you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, and however you look at it. But next week we're going to be finishing this campaign, this Resident Evil campaign, with session 4, 5, however you want to look at it. Decisions. We'll see what the fate. Now we know what the fate of Tiny has become. We're going to find out the fate of the other survivors now. All right. So I will see you guys next week. Until then, you have a great weekend and stay away from any crows. Bye.
Do not
Oh my
touch the crow.
god.